Whatever you need with another Ace Attorney video. Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe this guitar case plays a very important role here, but it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit it'd be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Ms. Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm eyeball. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, right? Then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? There's a witness as to why that guitar case had anything at all to do with the murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in that case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that the black... So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proved anything yet. Well then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the murder? Time of the murder. What are you sending me now, tiny bird? Unfortunate placing of the sign. Please have ticket or ass ready. It's supposed to say pass. Anyway. You know... Kinda hard to hide that. Yeah, let me try again. You know... Seen coming out, but not going in. Meaning... You know, perhaps the outfit was in the case. This is a photograph, yes, but what is important is what is in the picture, Your Honor. In this picture? God, you're a dunderhead. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is... Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Wright, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? An insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. Wrong. You couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get the shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Man-Arm-Guard's. Why would something of the defendants be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places. True, there's a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside of the case? I think this is the part where we get a funny bit of dialogue. It was stolen! I think it may have been stolen from Minister Underdog. Stolen? Why would somebody do such a thing? Maybe the thief want to interfere with the post-ceremony stage show? And so, if he didn't have his costume, then Mr. Underdog would be forced to go naked. Maybe you should be stripped naked and run out for making a mockery of this court. Excuse me? Mr. Man-on-Guard did not take his costume off after the award ceremony. You even testified that he took a nap while still wearing his costume. Is this not correct? Yeah, he did say something like that, didn't he? That's what I thought. Let's try that one more time, shall we, Mr. Wright? Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. Worth it. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? Worth it! It was a spare. Mr. Unger did not take his costume out during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jamin ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all the time without any sense of inner monologue? No, Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And answer with gusto, I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was the press conference. Obviously. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. Press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well, but once you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange is that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up. None other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes, the spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet, however. What I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai is going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, is going to speak about Man on Guard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Ms. Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Ms. Andrews, please offer some explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? What? And you know what the secret of Mr. Onguard is, Ms. Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Onguard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Ms. Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Phew! For the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. Finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault in this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. And shove it up your bum. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. And what about the button? The button? It's clear for the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Talking about this button, correct? The button was found in the police of Matt Sakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes a very decisive evidence. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. Can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still hit me. Unless you stare, yes. Ms. Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. Recall that it's a bloody ninja button. Recall that it was only bloody after he was stabbed, but he wasn't dead from the stab. He was strangled to death. Objection! This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab at the victim was done after the victim had already died. What does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it. Which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim? Exactly! Which means... is it possible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle? Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah. That's right, Ms. Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What did that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? Pin the crime on guard, obviously. There's no other way it would be in his pants. There was only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Ongard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Ongard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real murderer then? Real killer then? Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet, not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ongard is... Mizzleback, no. Will Powers! One can read it himself, that doesn't make sense. Adrian. This is Adrian Andrews. I choose you! You are Mr. Karita's killer. What? Order! Mr. Wright. It's a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Ms. Andrews. What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? And what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ongard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what? What about the button that was found in Man's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, Mr. Ragnar was the real killer. There's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. How many pairs of glasses do you own, woman? The only person who could have put this button on into Mr. Ragnar's Hakama, the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Ms. Andrews. The costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It can only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Ms. Adrian Andrews. No, And Ms. Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right! That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Ms. Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic day's discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Ms. Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Ms. Andrews? Got it this time. Ms. Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Ms. Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testifier can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Irongar's room, Adrian Andrews. Ouch! Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood. Alright. That's it. That's when Franziska planted this idea in her head. She must have told Ms. Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job providing everything up to this point, Mr. Phoenix, but there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Right out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yeah, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Ms. Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida. Mrs. Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Mrs. Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your own guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Yeah, what should we do? Somehow, we landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Ms. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? Request that both the prosecution and the defense are further in this matter. At tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have it tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? The client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing I am curious about. Ms. Andrews? When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken off, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. That rhymed. Blah. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Ms. Andrews, if you please. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. As far as seeing that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the power vase over. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything around this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. See, that's interesting because... I mean, he clearly has a knife in him. I also want to point out something else. What kind of $1,600 fucking camera in 2017 doesn't take photos in color? Objection, you bitchy bitch von bitch. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Ah! What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Carita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Yeah, well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. According to Ms. Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. How many pairs do you have? And your liar has proven one thing very clearly. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. No! I'm not screaming it. I refuse. I plead the fifth object. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Manhunter, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Ms. Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding from that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. And there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Manhunter's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. Now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hadn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Manhunter. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness? Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungar will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francisca von Karma, huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday she was tossed a lifesaver of Ms. von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Arngard will be acquitted. Ms. Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and she's clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Ms. Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Someone, help me. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. I think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix? I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Ms. Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Vanguard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I hoped things wouldn't come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Ms. Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop! Mr. Edgeworth? This witness? How should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please stop, I beg you! If people find out, If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. Almost finished here. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed one's dead body with the knife. I ripped off the button. Just when I finished, I was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the Nicholas Samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all of this? Might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. The scumbag of a man, I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So Ms. Andrews stabbed the victim Juancarita in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. But what? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Ms. Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Can you tell me the truth when you say you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but the scarf was part of the German ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything strange about it. I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up. I went to pour the juice. Juicy juice, 100% juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because, one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. And that's when I thought I should forge some evidence to pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. That first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a man dash to man. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then I stabbed him. Stop reading now, that has already been read. So you were the one to stab the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. Moved on soon. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used a button somehow, I could make man look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Unguard's hakama? Yes, that's what I plan to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? An inconvenience. There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. Wouldn't have been my spikes, it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. Used this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Unguard's room and planted the button. Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does this all mean? What does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Unguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Franziska, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor, the defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Ms. Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Today's trial, it's over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something? Edgewood? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Ah, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. Found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why... Witness, that card! Give it to me, hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? I can tell you what it is, but I think I'll wait. You'll find out soon enough. It's safe. Farewell, my turnabout. Let's see how much of this is left. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, this next one is going to be a long part. Yep, the next trial is the final trial. Oh shit! Sorry. Hang on. Hang on. Oop! What did I do? Oh fuck! I almost fucked myself over there. Oh, I'm sorry. I was scrolling through shit. Sorry. Um. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this video. I'm out of time with Balls. We'll continue this next time. Till then, I'm your Wiki. Goodbye.